Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Ranger's Respite, and today is the next installment in my series of Lost Lantern reviews. Gotta remember to turn it the correct direction. So, today I'm looking at their 2024 Summer Single Cask collection or selection from Rocktown Distillery in Little Rock, Arkansas. This is straight bourbon whiskey. It is bottled at 58.8% alcohol by volume, which is 117.6 proof. It is 82% Arkansas grown corn, 9% Arkansas grown wheat, and 9% malted barley, and aged 4 years in a 53-gallon white oak barrel. It is wonderful stuff. As always, Adam and Nora have done an excellent job of selecting this barrel. It is interesting on the nose. It's got like sweet vanilla, little like hints of dried fruit, and a like if you've ever like eaten raw oatmeal. I know it's weird, but if you're on a hike and you don't have water, if you've ever eaten raw oatmeal, there's like a graininess to it, and on the nose that's like comes pretty far forward. There's also like a little bit of like green cherry note, like if you've ever like walked underneath a cherry tree after a storm and there's not quite ready to be picked cherries on the ground. A little bit of like just a hint of nice oakiness on the nose. For 4 years old and 58.8%, not a whole lot of alcohol on the nose. On the palate, at first blush, there's a burst of like slightly sweet tanniny, but it sort of bursts and drifts away, and you're left with like vanilla, a little bit of nuttiness, and a like rich, grainy, almost chewy note. Not chewy mouthfeel. It's like whole grain bread sort of vibe, and some bittersweet cherry. Like you ever like gone through and like tried all your cocktail ingredients and poured a little bit of maraschino liqueur, just a little bit of that, but less sweet. Again, 58.8% alcohol. Doesn't burn like it. It's a nice, gentle, friendly dram. A little bit drying in the mouth. On the finish, there's a little bit of like bittersweet. Again, like slight fruit sweetness, but mostly like a bitter raw grain flavor. Coming back to the nose, that shiny green note comes back in. And there's just a little bit of like a fresh cut vegetation sort of smell. And I kind of get that on the palate now. The finish is nice mid-length, I think. It's got a little bit of oakiness, but it's really this raw grain character. Just a hint of spice towards the tail end of the palate and into the finish that I think comes from that little bit of. Wait, there isn't rye in this. There isn't. Where is that spice coming from? It must be barrel, because there's like just a hint of like if you've ever like gotten like a whole piece of cracked black pepper, or not cracked, but like a peppercorn, and like bit into it, and you've got that like pop of like spice and that woodiness. I think that has to come from barrel somewhere. Interesting. It also doesn't have the I mean, granted, it's not a whole lot of wheat in here. It's only what 9% wheat, so that's not quite enough to really give you those like rich, like dark tobacco, chocolatey notes that you get from wheat in whiskey mash bills. But there might be some of that there. That's really interesting. So, as you may know, if you have watched my videos before, I don't give numerical scores. I find them to not be really useful. A lot of people disagree with me. It's just my opinion. Instead, I ask and answer 3 questions. The first one is, do I think that do I like it? I think I skipped to the second question in my head. It's been a long week. Do I like it? Yes, absolutely. I think this is an excellent representation of summer, actually. It's got that nice sweet heat, the like rich graininess. I swear, drinking this, I can hear the cicadas, the grasshoppers whine, and the little frogs in the creek going. Fantastic stuff, as always. I genuinely believe that this is probably one of my favorite bourbons. Weirdly enough, I haven't tried every bourbon, and this is slightly different from my usual favorite bourbons, but I really like it. I think that it is an excellent, well balanced dram, and it's got an interesting mash bill too. Do I think it's a good value? Absolutely, yes. Um, its price point is in line with what you would get for a high quality bourbon of this age from a craft distillery, and that makes sense. That's what this is, and you get the added value there of it is selected by people who absolutely know what they're doing and have a palate that you can rely on to be the same every time, and it shows. It is fantastic. Next question is, do I recommend it? Absolutely. If you like, sort of a bright, grainy bourbon that's high on the corn character, that isn't super oaky and like tannin bitter, this is an excellent choice because it matches all those criteria, and it's from a fantastic independent bottler with amazing transparency. That's those 3 questions asked and answered. If you like these videos and you would like to see more, one of the ways that you can support me is by going to the Etsy store linked in the description down below, buying a bowl, or bowls aren't your thing. If you're looking for a good pen, I also sell pens. This one is made from a Jim Beam barrel stave. It's a roller ball. Very nice. The other thing that sales from that Etsy store support is a single malt frontier. We took this week off. We'll be back next week, probably with a new and interesting guest, possibly an interim co-host. But until then, well, perhaps until Monday, stay happy, stay geeks, sláinte.